Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm joined with my boy Barack right here. We got 10 days in Argentina. We're starting here in Buenos Aires for 2 days, and then we got a diabolical flight. It's at like 5 in the morning the next day. So, yeah. So we're about 20 minutes from the actual city of Buenos Aires, and we're stopping in this neighborhood that's really close to this famous church that we're about to go explore. But first off, we grabbed some food. I had a beef and cheddar. It's all gone. I finished it. It was pretty good. Had a beef and cheddar little bagel thing. But yeah, we're chilling in this cafe and then going to visit the famous church. A Eucharistic miracle happened at this church. You know, Brock was kind of the one who put me on this one. It's the Santa Maria Parish. What was it, 1999?
1997, yes.
Yeah, one of the Eucharist turned bloody. And actually when we were in the church, Brock was able to talk to a guy, and he actually showed us, or what we assumed was the actual Eucharist that was bloody. It was behind a little painting within the church, and so we got to see it ourselves, which is really, really cool. So we tried to figure out the Sube system, and it was quite cooked, to say the least. We couldn't figure out how to get a card or anything, so we're just gonna Uber into the downtown area. Hopefully it's easier to figure out once we get in that area. So we successfully got to the city center, but we may or may not have Ubered to the wrong hotel. So we had to walk about a half a mile to our actual hotel, and on the way we were introduced to the bookstore chain El Ateneo, and they have a ton of these scattered across Buenos Aires. And just first glimpses of the city, architecturally, it is beautiful. It kind of reminds me of New Orleans and the French Quarter. So we just got into the city center, and now we're about to actually dip from the city center. We're going to a neighborhood called Palermo. I think this is kind of like the trendy cultural district of Buenos Aires. So excited about that. I think we're gonna grab some food.
Some cafe.
Maybe a little drink. And we're walking to the station right now, and look at what we see right here. It's the Pink House. It's where the president of Argentina does his work. Casually just strolling through the probably the most famous place in all of Argentina. 13. Whoa, let me put my glasses down. We're pretty far from the city center now, and they still got a ton of really big skyscrapers. Right when I started walking around Palermo, I felt this very foreign feeling on the back of my neck, and this actually happened to be sunshine, because I have not seen the sun in what feels like ages. This winter's been very rough. But luckily for me, Argentina, it happens to be in the southern hemisphere, which means I'm enjoying a nice summer day in the middle of February. It's actually kind of crazy to think about. But speaking of February, this park is called Parque de Tres Febrero, and it's absolutely beautiful on the water overlooking the city. Yep, Argentina has these gooses, or the geese things. Yeah, they're just everywhere. So I guess this park is sponsored by Bridgerton. South Americans must really love this show because they were advertising it so hard. But anyways, we met up with some locals and we had a nice little picnic here, had some pastries, and then we had the yerba mate, which is the drink of choice of all the locals here in Buenos Aires and most of Argentina, I'll say. Pretty much everywhere we went, all the locals, they always had their yerba mate. Like, it was 90 degrees Fahrenheit here and people were still drinking this hot tea. After our picnic, we walked around a bit and we hit this massive flower structure, and let me lock in for my pronunciation now. It's called Floralis Generica. Nice. This sculpture represents hope, and actually when it's working, the petals open and close each and every day, but unfortunately that functionality was not there when I visited. All right, you ready for something crazy? This building right here belongs to the law school at the University of Buenos Aires. Like, what? Anyways, the view was really nice from this bridge over here. It was so nice. It inspired me to take a nice little photo of myself. Cool. Argentina is known for a lot of things, but one of the most popular things they are known for is their Argentinian tango. So, you know, of course, I gotta go to an Argentina tango show. So that's what we're about to do right now. And I'm actually not too foreign with tango. I actually took social dance 1 and 2. I know. I took it at my college and we did a little bit of tango. It was American tango and I was terrible at it. But nevertheless, I'm glad that I'll actually be able to get to see some pretty good tango at this show tonight. You're good, bro.
Wait, we take it at the same time.
The tango was really, really good, except the building it was in was like 85 degrees during the whole show. But besides that, it was fire. Post-tango show, we found ourselves at a rooftop restaurant/bar. It's about 1 a.m. So just like any typical Argentinian, we're having dinner at 1 a.m. now. We're getting some Argentinian pizza. Yeah! So on the way to the pizza place, passed by this huge monument right here. It's called the Obelisco, and this monument was set into place to celebrate Buenos Aires' 400th year anniversary in 1936. Wow, what a building. So I did not realize when we booked this trip that we're gonna be gone for Valentine's Day, and that day it happens to fall on today, but it's all right because I'm a single man out here. Our hotel though, they sent us like an $100 voucher for a romantic dinner. But you know, we were like, all right, bro, like we're gonna pass on that. But today we're gonna be exploring some of the neighborhoods, and we're gonna start it off with La Boca. Yeah, so we ended up taking the bikes to La Boca, and you could probably tell from this video, but I was struggling on the bike. I don't know if this is a common occurrence with other people, but as the years go on, I get worse and worse at riding a bicycle. Anyways, it's about a 3-mile bike ride to La Boca, so past a ton of beautiful sights. It was a great day to bike. It was 85 degrees. Look at this view right here. Come on now. Oh, that's the pink house from the back. That's a pretty cool shot. We biked through the streets covered in trees, and they also had a market. It was absolutely beautiful. And then finally, after about 40 minutes, we arrived to La Boca. La Boca. That means the mouth. Caminito is the main popular street here in La Boca. I've heard it's very colorful. Very colorful. I like colors, so maybe I'll like this. This place is crowded. Definitely the most crowded neighborhood I've been in so far. Although La Boca can be kind of overwhelming with the crowds, you can find some streets like this one that don't have as many people, and some street markets as well. These are really nice because they're covered. Look at this, is a double decker right here. And yeah, they're beautiful inside, and some of the gifts in there, they're pretty cool. I will say so myself. Right now, standing in the premises of the La Boca Junior Stadium. I think it's called La Bombonera, and it's kind of crazy. Buenos Aires has 5 teams in the Argentinian league. Like, there's 5. That's kind of crazy, honestly. But this is one of the most historic stadiums in all of soccer around the whole world. The Boca Junior fans are crazy. I've heard game days here, it's just wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. Everyone's packed in to watch the Boca Juniors. I know, right? New neighborhood unlocked, just arrived in San Telmo, and this is literally like the opposite of La Boca. There's hardly anyone here. So I think the biggest draw for this place is that they have a really nice market that goes on both Saturday and Sunday. So we made it to the San Telmo market, which opened, fun fact, in 1897. And it was absolutely packed, to say the least, which I was kind of expecting going in, but we still ended up staying for about 20 minutes. It wasn't like a life-changing market by any means, but still definitely worth a visit if you are in the area. And then right after the market, we ended up going to our first Parrilla, which I can't believe I didn't record any of the food at this place. It was so good. But the Parrilla is very famous in Argentina. They are known for their grilled meats. After the Parrilla, we stopped at this place called Ahhh Bar, and we sat outside, which was pretty incredible because all this greenery is just somehow growing on the building. Like, actually though, how does this grow on the building without roots? Or maybe they have roots? I don't know. But it's cool nonetheless. We enjoyed a nice tea at this place. All right, have arrived back in Plaza De Mayo. I was here very briefly yesterday. We have the president's workplace there behind me, that pink house that we saw for a little bit yesterday. Yeah, it's gonna hang out here in Plaza De Mayo a little bit longer today. This is probably the most famous and most important public square or area in the whole city of Buenos Aires. A lot of protests happened here, a lot of revolutionary stuff happened here, so super important to the city. Standing right in front of the main Catholic cathedral here in Buenos Aires. This is where Pope Francis, this was like his congregation for a while before he became Pope, so excited to tour the inside of this cathedral. And now we're back at the presidential workplace, the Pink House, or Casa Rosada, here in Plaza De Mayo. Me and Brock both mentioned they got a just massive Argentinian flag here, which makes sense. Huge. It's like so huge, actually. like just seeing it fly up there. Yeah, which makes sense because this is the capital, Argentina. So yeah, but historic place right here, pink. We love pink here, so just to see this beautiful building in all pink, it's cool. It's kind of crazy how close you can get to this because the White House, you literally cannot get close to it at all in the States. I was just back in DC a couple months ago, and you have to stand so far back from the White House, and you literally just come to Plaza De Mayo here. Now, granted, the president does not live here. He only works here. I think he lives in the suburbs, maybe, but it is still pretty surreal to get this close to the presidential workplace. So it's about 7 p.m. I feel like this is low-key typical lunchtime, but we're about to go get some dinner. We're doing it at a Michelin star restaurant. I've never gone to one of those before. It's called Don Julio. It's a steakhouse. I'm super excited. Once again, guys, it is Valentine's Day, and so we did not realize this when we made the reservation. So we're just going to be sitting there, and there's just going to be couples all around us throughout the whole restaurant. Great. Just got back from Palermo, which is where the Don Julio restaurant is located, and it was very good, don't get me wrong. Was it absolutely life-changing? Not really. Not for me at least. I mean, but still very solid restaurant. It was super touristy though, like low-key there was no locals at all at Don Julio, but hey man, now I can say I tried a Michelin star restaurant. And with that being said, tomorrow morning we are going to Bariloche. We're flying via Flybondi, which I am petrified for. I heard they only have 12 airplanes in the whole airline system. I don't know how that's possible, but we're flying there. We're going to spend some time in the Patagonia region, and then the last day of our trip, we'll be spending almost a whole day in Buenos Aires. So yeah, let's cut to that when we return to Buenos Aires. Oh, also at Don Julio, I tried calthroat for the first time. Grave mistake. It was all fat. The calthroat was actually diabolical. Something I didn't mention about the flight to Bariloche is that we had to wake up at literally 2:30 in the morning for this flight, so it was an absolute fever dream. But hey, our Flybondi flight actually clutched up, and it was only delayed 20 minutes. Flybondi, man. But yeah, I'll see you in a week. Officially back in Buenos Aires after about a week in Patagonia. Everything's back except all my clothes. All my clothes are still lost at one of the airports. So they said they just located my bag, but it did get lost during baggage claim, unfortunately. But yeah, we got pretty much the whole day today to explore the city some more, and then we head back to the States later tonight. But we just hit up Mass because it is Sunday. We actually went to the Metro Cathedral, which was very cool to just attend Mass in such a historic church like that. But, when I first was looking up Buenos Aires, I saw all these pictures of this really cool bridge and, the skyline of the city, and it looked like a really dope picture. And so we're actually going to that bridge right now. It's in a neighborhood called Puerto Madero. And so, yeah, looking forward to the views. Puerto Madero is Buenos Aires' youngest and most modern neighborhood. It's super spread out, so it's not overwhelming, and it's nice right on the water, even though the water doesn't look the cleanest. But they got a ton of restaurants in this neighborhood. We went to another Parrilla. I got some pork shoulder right here. And is it weird to say that this was my favorite neighborhood in all of Buenos Aires? This neighborhood is really cool. A lot going on here on this nice Sunday afternoon. They got this bar right here. It's already playing club music, house music, and it's 2 in the afternoon. But now we're going to explore a new neighborhood in Buenos Aires called Recoleta. It's one of the most popular, one of the most famous ones. And first we're going to a famous cemetery there. All right, welcome to the Recoleta Cemetery, and this is no ordinary cemetery by any means. This place opened in 1822, and it houses about 4,700 above-ground vaults spreading throughout 14 acres of land. And the architecture of these vaults, it's unmatched with any other cemetery I've ever seen in my whole life. And there's so many different architectural styles throughout the whole entire cemetery. And literally, like, look at this. There's just many churches within the cemetery, which is so cool to see. And as you probably guessed, these vaults consist of wealthy and elite Argentinians. There are many famous Argentinians buried here, such as Eva Perón, former First Lady of Argentina, and Luis Angel Firpo, an Argentinian boxer. And I knew coming in that this attraction was going to be pretty unique, but just seeing it in person and seeing the size of these different vaults was just absolutely crazy. And it's almost like its own little town. Got a fruit smoothie here. I don't know what flavor it is, but it tastes very delicious. Anyways, we're going to a bookstore now. A very cool bookstore. Literally a bookstore in a theater. What? They even got a cafe up where the stage is up there. And with that, unfortunately, my time in Buenos Aires had to come to an end. But man, what a great first city to visit here in South America. I'm not gonna lie, before this trip, I was a little nervous coming to a brand new continent, but I really did feel at home in this city. Like literally, there were some times where I would be walking around and I was like, dang, I could literally live here. But from the people to the food to the culture, it was just all around a great experience. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you happen to enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel and be on the lookout for more South America content. All right, goodbye.